If you take it at a very personal level, if I'm sick, I cannot be a good husband, I cannot be a good father, and also I cannot be a good colleague to my coworkers, and it's true for every one of us. And so health is not a given, and I believe health is never a given. And it's a bit like the environment. That's an analogy I would like to draw here, which I think is important. You know, my wife likes to say, you know, bees don't send invoices. But if we don't have bees anymore, we're all going to be in big trouble. Trees don't send invoices. But if there's no more trees providing oxygen, we're not going to last very, very long. And so I think it's important that we always consider as leaders what is required to enable the prosperity of the people and the growth that is necessary. Just look at long COVID, it is terrible. In the US so far, there's been 16 million people. 16 million people with long COVID, mostly young people in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s. You hear some stories that are horrible. Somebody who used to be able to jog 5 kilometers a day can barely walk now because the lung damage, which is permanent, is very profound. And it's around the world, young people. 4 million Americans out of job right now because of long COVID. Think about the impact it has on them as people, their families, and on the economy. Think about it as the impact on inflation, just having this talented labor pool not available to create value. You know, a lot of time we talk about healthcare, but I would like to propose that we actually talk about healthcare, but it's not healthcare that we are doing as a society. It's sick care. We are mostly taking care of people that are sick. And if you think about it, we have to really invest much more in prevention. What I think is really exciting today is we are every day learning more and more about how our body works. I believe we are just years away, not decades away, years away from understanding most of the functioning of a human body. That is a miracle in the history of humanity, us on the planet. For hundreds and thousands of years, we had no idea how the body was working. Until recently, we used to bleed people when they were sick, trying to help them, right? So think about the world where we can use that knowledge to help people not get sick. That's how we're going to really help a lot of people across the world, including people, of course, in low-income countries. And I think that's the solution. You know, too many times I talk with public health leaders, and as you say, we talk about vaccine and we talk about cost. Vaccine is one of the best, if not the best, return on invested healthcare dollar. So we should really think about how do we prevent people from getting sick. The world will be much better, and all of us can enjoy a great life versus taking care of people who are already sick.
I think that was a very important message, and I will not forget what you said, or your wife said about the bees are not sending invoices or the trees, but they're doing a very important job. And also, what we're doing today is sick care and not health care. How can we also do more preventive?
I was hit by COVID thrice, but my lungs are fine.
So I'm glad. But I thought that number of Americans with 16 million with long COVID, it was a staggering number. But we don't want to be at the end of the panel, because I'm seeing the clock is really ticking up there. You can see it, but it tells us that we have to land. But I don't want to end on a negative note either. So I was thinking, Stefan, that I just read that Moderna is working on 3 new vaccines. I think they're at trial with the experimental vaccines against new viruses. I guess that's good.
Yes, we're actually 28 that are in the clinic right now. Okay. Some will be approved as early as in the next few weeks. But the thing that excites me the most is what we're doing in cancer. We have amazing data in skin cancer. We're working with many regulators to get these to patients as soon as possible. And I think that because of the progress that the scientific community is making in the basic understanding of cancer, I believe, you know, in our lifetime, we're going to see most cancer being able to be taken care of, which would be a wonderful, you know, hope for humanity. Wow. As you know, for so many families, we have all been touched by cancer, to loved ones. And I think if we could live in a world where cancer is treatable and not a death sentence, that will be a big step forward for mankind.
Yeah. Next decade or in 2 decades?
I'm talking years. Again, I'm talking years, and I'm hoping that potentially as early as next year, we will have the first product on the market for cancer.
Wow, that's really. I think everyone has had someone, friends or family that has been affected. I think this is also a bit of a segue back to you, Minister Faisal, because I think artificial intelligence also will play an important role in the future of healthcare, I guess also sick care, but artificial intelligence can also respond to what you mentioned about decreased productivity. Productivity is really prosperity. When you can increase productivity, you can pay people higher salaries for doing less, or you can produce higher up in the value chain. I think you have an announcement on artificial intelligence to share with us today.
Just as a backdrop, maybe, Borge, and to answer your previous question as well. Under Vision 2030, the Kingdom's economic evolution has been moving very robustly. Our non-oil growth, which is what we're very proud of, in 2022, when the Kingdom was the fastest G20 economy in growth, grew at 5.9%, and that momentum is still continuing till today. The IMF projects our non-oil growth to be 5% this year, 5.1% next year. So this is very important for us. Because of our diversification by design, we're moving away from very productive sectors like oil and petrochemicals and financial services, which means there's a pressure on our productivity to decline. Since Vision 2030, that decline has slowed down. But we're looking for more ways to improve productivity because we want to become a productivity-led economic growth story, not just a resource-led one. And that has led us to prioritize research, development, and innovation, human capital development outcomes, and investments in technology. More recently, focusing on artificial intelligence as well. As a user, the government is one of the most active governments in terms of looking at a lot of policy areas and problems and trying to answer them, but also the private sector, as an investor, but also as a platform for others to participate in. And because of that, and because of what we said earlier, the importance of this kind of technology being inclusive. If it's inclusive, this means it can create growth avenues in the lesser developed countries, if we focus on inclusivity. So we're very proud to be joining the AI Global Alliance that's been launched by the World Economic Forum. The Kingdom will be joining this alliance as of now. And we're also very much excited about working with the forum on this new initiative called Inclusive AI for Growth and Development. That's one way the Kingdom will push the needle on the need for global governance when it comes to artificial intelligence, but also making sure this technology is inclusive for optimal global growth outcomes.
Bravo.
No, thank you. Thank you very much, and I think we then will be working together to make sure that AI can work in the interest of humankind. You know, the World Economic Forum is a Swiss-based international organization, so I learned when I started at the forum that you have to be on time. It's the only place is in Switzerland if they start a meeting before the time. If you're arriving at 5 and the meeting was supposed to be at 5 and there were critical mass, they would just have started. And I see there is 0 time left there. But I also felt the panel was so good, I would have liked to continue. But I learned from being a former speechwriter that you should end when people still want you to continue, because that's mainly not the case when it comes to politicians. You know, you want them to land. So I think this panel has been a great panel. I would also like to use this unique opportunity when we are at the end of this summit, the special meeting that has meant a lot to the World Economic Forum. It's our first time in the Kingdom in our 55 years history. It's incredible the changes that are taking place here. Also the cooperation with the kingdom, with Minister Faisal, but I see also many of the other ministers that we work so closely with, and also under the patronage of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, has been incredible. So, and the 2 last nights, I think there has been no sleep, but they're very committed. I'm very thankful for putting all this together, and I think we all aspire, if we are re-invited, to come back to the kingdom. I would like then to introduce, for closing remarks, my colleague, our director for Middle East and North Africa, Maroon Kairouz. Maroon, thank you to you and your team and the teams for the incredible job.
Thank you, Borge, for your leadership. Esteemed panelists, thank you. And first and foremost, thank all of you for your devoted engagement during the past couple of days for this first meeting in Saudi Arabia, as you said, Borge. The meeting has taken place at a crucial time for the region and for the world against a backdrop of geopolitical fragility. So it was incredibly important that we hold it at this time. At the closing of this meeting, I just want to end on a positive note, as you were saying, and mention some of the concrete outcomes or key discussions that took place during the course of the meeting. First of all, we hosted important dialogues on the geopolitical situation in the region, to build trust between key regional and international actors and make progress towards peace against, again, a complicated geopolitical backdrop. Another example is we held similar dialogues with top government officials from key emerging economies, including Malaysia, Turkey, and Mexico, which are pivotal in the global supply chain on global supply chains in the current geo-economic landscape. In addition, Saudi Arabia and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation pledged to work together to help protect 370 million children annually from polio. A new forum report was launched that explores how artificial intelligence could revolutionize education systems for educators and students alike, while a new framework will chart a path for governments and employers to expand a global digital workforce. We signed an agreement, as in the World Economic Forum, signed an agreement with the Saudi Space Agency to launch a Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution to ensure that the fast-growing space industry contributes to sustainable economic development. As was just announced by Minister Faisal, Saudi Arabia will join the forum's AI Governance Alliance on Inclusive AI for Growth and Development to identify challenges and solutions to global AI access. On cybersecurity, we published a report on the guiding principles to enhance cyber resilience in manufacturing. Together, we explored policy tools that can scale up the use of clean energy solutions while ensuring equitable growth. For instance, our Global Future Council on the Energy Transition released a report detailing the geopolitical, environment, and economic implications of shifting from fossil fuels to critical minerals. The leaders for Sustainable MENA, a community of CEOs from the region, met to strengthen their corporate climate commitments and to help their suppliers down the supply chain to decarbonize. Our innovators from Uplink launched with the Saudi Minister of Energy and the Ministry of Economy a new circular carbon economy initiative to source startups working on cutting-edge solutions for reducing, reusing, recycling, and removing carbon from the atmosphere. Once again, please allow me to thank all of you for your devoted engagement, to thank Minister Faisal and his team for the great collaboration And a big thank you to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for hosting us here. Have a great rest of the day, everyone.
रियाज में आलमी इक़्तिसादी फोरम के ख़ुसूसी इजलास का इख्तितामी सेशन वज़ीर-ए-आज़म मोहम्मद शहबाज शरीफ ने इस इख्तितामी सेशन में शिरकत की, इजहार ख्याल भी किया। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म कहते हैं यूक्रेन जंग की वजह से आलमी सतह पर अशिया की कीमतों में इजाफा हुआ। गजा में अमन के बगैर दुनिया में अमन कायम नहीं हो सकता। फ़लस्तीन में क़याम अमन बहुत ज़रूरी है। मौसमियाती तब्दीलियों की वजह से चैलेंजेस का सामना है। पाकिस्तान मौसमियाती तब्दीलियों से मुतासर ममालिक में सर फहरिस्त है। आलमी मंडी में महंगाई की वजह से तरक्की पजीर ममालिक मुतासर हुए। सऊदी अरब समेत दोस्त ममालिक ने पाकिस्तान की मदद की। मईशत की बेहतरी के लिए इस्लाहात नागुज़ीर हैं। पाकिस्तान में बड़े पैमाने पर माशी इस्लाहात करने जा रहे हैं। पाकिस्तान को मौसमी तब्दीली जैसे बड़े चैलेंज का सामना है। सैलाब ने हमारी इक्तिसादी सूरत हाल को बुरी तरह मुतासिर किया है। आलमी मंडी में महंगाई की वजह से भी तरक्की पजीर ममालिक मुतासिर हुए। दुनिया में अमन और इस्तेहकाम के लिए फ़लस्तीन में अमन बहुत ज़रूरी है। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म मोहम्मद शहबाज शरीफ का रियाज में आलमी इक़्तिसादी फोरम के ख़ुसूसी इजलास के इख्तितामी सेशन से खिताब। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म मोहम्मद शहबाज शरीफ और मलेशिया के वज़ीर-ए-आज़म अनवर इब्राहिम के दरमियान रियाज में मुलाकात। दोनों रहनुमाओं का तालीम, साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी, लाइव स्टॉक और तिजारत के शोबों में बाहमी ताउन मज़ीद बढ़ाने का अज़्म। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म के फ़न व अदब खुसूसन अल्लामा इकबाल के बारे में मलेशियन वज़ीर-ए-आज़म की मालूमात की सत्ताइश। दौरा पाकिस्तान की भी दावत। पाकिस्तान और सऊदी अरब के माशी ताल्लुकात नए दौर में दाखिल हो चुके हैं। आने वाले दिनों में दो तरफा तिजारत का हजम बढ़ाने के हवाले से भरपूर इकदाम किए जाएंगे। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म मोहम्मद शहबाज शरीफ की रियाज में सऊदी वज़ीर तिजारत माजिद अल क़स्बी से गुफ्तगू। सऊदी वली अहद की वाज़ेह हिदायत के मुताबिक पाकिस्तान को सरमायाकारी और तिजारत के हवाले से तरजीह दे रहे हैं। सऊदी वज़ीर तिजारत माजिद अल क़स्बी की यकीन दहानी। तुर्की की बर्री अफवाज के कमांडर जनरल सेल्चक बिरकात्रो ओगलू के लिए निशान इम्तियाज मिलिट्री। सदर आसिफ अली जरदारी ने तकरीब में एजाज दिया। आर्मी चीफ जनरल शहबाज मुनीर, तुर्की की मुसल्लह अफवाज के अफसरान और दीगर आला हुकाम की शिरकत। बाद में तुर्की की बर्री अफवाज के कमांडर ने सदर ममलिकत से मुलाकात की। तुर्की के साथ ताल्लुकात पर फ़ख्र है। तुर्की ने हमेशा बुनियादी मसाइल पर पाकिस्तान की हिमायत की। दोनों ममालिक इलाकाई अमन व इस्तेहकाम के फ़रोग में नुमायां किरदार अदा कर सकते हैं। सदर आसिफ अली जरदारी की जनरल सेल्चक बिरकात्रो ओगलू से गुफ्तगू। मुलाकात में आर्मी चीफ जनरल शहबाज मुनीर ने भी शिरकत की। तुर्क बर्री फौज के कमांडर की आर्मी चीफ जनरल शहबाज मुनीर से मुलाकात। दो तरफा ताल्लुकात और दिफाई ताउन मजीद बढ़ाने पर तबादला ख्याल। दोनों ममालिक के दरमियान तारीखी, सकाफती और मजहबी ताल्लुकात पर मबनी गहरे ताल्लुक